Well, with us headed into another election season, Super Tuesday happening, I've noticed some changes to the graphics of the mainstream news television networks. Now, I know a lot of people don't watch mainstream news anymore, but when it comes to elections and actually looking at vote tallies, let's be honest, we still do look at those channels. And I thought it would be kind of a fun activity to go back and look at the graphics. How have they improved on CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, the big three when it comes to the mainstream, and just kind of grade the graphics from 2012, 2016, 2020, and 2024. Those are the years I'm going to be focusing on and just talking about who I think has the best graphics out of the big three news organizations, mainstream news organizations, beginning with CNN. And obviously, CNN, I don't agree with them politically, but this is obvious. I mean, they have the best graphics by far. It's not even close. So this was 2012. You can see they've got the little vote thing at the bottom. I always like that green little bar that tells you how much of the vote is in. At that point, Mitt Romney beating Obama. But even CNN's 2012 one, I think, is easily digestible. I like the layout of it. You can tell at this point it's a little bit outdated, but it still is decent. Moving on to 2016, this is like primetime Donald Trump out of nowhere beating Hillary. And the graphics, I mean, CNN had great graphics in 2016. They just look so clean to me. They look good. And kind of a similar setup to 2012. They just modernized it slightly, made it a little bit better, but it is basically the exact same thing in terms of the font, in terms of that little green bar with the total percentage of votes counted. And you can also see they've got the map up there. They go to the different things. That's with John King. Yeah, they've got that. And then moving on to 2020, I guess this is an improvement. I mean, they definitely changed from 2016 to 2020. This is Biden, Trump, obviously. Looks like they changed their font a little bit. Other than that, it seems like they kept everything relatively the same. Like, it's not like they're making big changes to their graphics package. I will say, when you go to like the state by state, seems like they change. It looks kind of like Microsoft to me, like one of those Microsoft graphics package when you go state by state, like with Ohio right there. It just looks a little bit like maybe a little bit different, but it still is really good graphics compared to the other two. And then this is CNN's 2024, apparently 2024 version. There's just not a lot of change with CNN, but it still is very good, honestly. Biden versus no preference. But yeah, that's just that. And then Biden versus uncommitted, hilarious. But there's really just not much change with CNN. It is a very good graphics package, though. Let's move on to Fox News. So Fox News, going back to 2012, this is brutal to look at, man. It really is bad. It just looks so disheveled at the bottom of the screen. That was Obama, Romney. It's hard to even tell, in terms of the vote counts and things like that. They upgraded it significantly in 2016. I still am not a fan of the font with that Fox uses in 2016. I mean, normally on election night, you're going to want to flip through all of them. But to me, Fox's graphics are just really lagging. I would completely overhaul the Fox's graphic package, honestly, which is surprising because you think Fox and their NFL graphics have always been very solid in comparison to other networks. But when it comes to Fox News, it's really lagging. That was 2016. Oh, there you can see John Kasich winning the state of Ohio. Hilarious during the primary. And then this is moving on to 2020. So it looks like they did make it more palatable in 2020, at least a little bit. But even this, it's like, I don't know. You got to show like the total vote numbers. I think it would be better. And also, where is the percentage in? That's another thing that's an issue that looks like that was lacking a little bit for Fox News in 2020. There's no like total percentage in there. And then 2024, it seems like they made it a little bit bolder. You can see that it looks like the font is a little bolder, a little bit bigger, and they do also have the percent in there, 90. But it's relatively the same. It is an improvement. You can tell Fox is slightly getting better with their graphics. They look more modern in 2024, but that is just them. And then this is MSNBC, which is kind of like uses a branch off version of the NBC graphics package. If you guys know NBC, their football, their college football Saturday night games, the Notre Dame games, NFL Sunday night games as well. This was the 2012 one. This is another one I'm really not a big fan of. I just think it looks weird. Like, you got to have that take up the bottom of the screen. You know, I would have that take up the entire bottom screen, but they only have it. It's almost like a little scoreboard for a sport. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. And then 2016 is when they started doing this like big grandiose election update thing where, you know, they're in front of the buildings. I think that we can do without that. Yeah, to me, I know they think it looks cool, but I think it's unnecessary, honestly, when they give updates and things like that. And then just looking at, I mean, these are decent graphics. Definitely not better than CNN, but they're decent. And you can just see some of those. And then moving on to 2020, they really barely did anything. They're basically the same. They just clean them up slightly. Yeah, it's pretty hard to tell the differences. What they end up doing normally is they'll just keep enlarging the font and making it look a little bit nicer when it comes to these graphics. And they still do that little shot there, which I think is pretty dumb. But, oh, look at Biden up by 20 in Ohio. It's the too early. Yeah, when votes start coming in and people are like, I remember when people thought Biden was going to win Ohio in 2020. That was a lot of the, mail-in vote that came in. That had to have been all the mail-in vote coming in. And then moving on to 2024, that's a really nice improvement. I think that looks good from MSNBC, the graphics. Those look really nice. So MSNBC did improve their graphics, it seems like a lot for the 2024 election, but those are just kind of different graphics package through the years. Graphics packages through the years. I find this stuff kind of interesting. I mean, honestly, in terms of it being palatable, CNN's graphics are by far the best. Obviously, their politics, what they say, that's another story. It is pretty crazy when you think about it. This will be the third straight election involving Trump. So there is that. And I did also want to go through ABC. So I never normally watch ABC, but you can take a look at their 2012 graphics. It's interesting. They've got that little, the circular ABC logo, and in 2012, they kind of had the background of it, a U.S. flag. I mean, I noticed something like that's pretty nice, honestly. But when it comes to their graphics in 2012, ABC's, I don't think they're the worst. I don't think you should really be showing the governor's races next to the president. People just don't care about that stuff that much. It should just be like the presidential race. Every state going by on a ticker, that's what I would do. And then this was 2016. They completely changed their graphics in 2016, and those are definitely better. They're bolder. They're not including any of the governor's races or anything like that, and they look pretty good in 2016. And then in 2020, they literally kept it the exact same, it looks like. Maybe slightly changed the colors a little bit. And then apparently this is 2024. It looks the exact same. I don't know why they have Trump as purple. I guess they wanted to kind of differentiate between Trump and Nikki Haley, but it's kind of strange there. But it looks the exact same. But that was just ABC's. That's an extra one I threw in. Either way, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.